Good evening and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV, your trusted platform on insightful stories on politics, policy and governance. I'm Hamza Idris. Tonight we focus on the 2025 trillion naira proposed expenditure by 22 out of the 36 states of the Federation, representing over 30% increase compared to the 2024 budgets. This is coming on the heels of growing concerns over development deficit at the subnational levels. Experts say while there is significant improvement in the federal allocation to the states as a result of the petrol subsidy removal, which makes their corpus almost triple, if not quadruple, promoting the budgets running into trillions of naira, there hasn't been corresponding impact on the citizens, especially at the local level. Increasing level of poverty, unemployment, destitution, and declining indices of development, especially in the northern part of the country, many say has exposed the inefficiencies of the budgeting system and impact, leaving significant number of the citizens below poverty line. To help us navigate through the issues here in the studio is the Secretary General for the Money of Connected Development, Muktar Modibbo. And we have Honorable Adamu Rabi'u, a monitoring and evaluation specialist on policy, finance, risk politics, and good governance and sustainable development, who join us via Zoom from Kaduna. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us in our studio. Muktar, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
And Adamu, you are also welcome, and we hope you are having a good day in Kaduna. But before the commencement of the program, here are some tidbits. The Federal Executive Council has approved a 47.96 trillion expenditure for the 2025 budget, marking a 36.8% increase from the 2024 estimates. The decision was made during the Council's final meeting of the 2024 held on Monday in the Council chambers of the State House in Abuja. Speaking to correspondents, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, disclosed that the 2025 framework is based on key economic projections, including an oil price benchmark of $75 to a barrel, daily oil production of 2.06 million barrels, and the exchange rate of 1,400 to the dollar. And elsewhere, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission says it has carried out its largest single-day operation against cryptocurrency and romance scam networks, arresting 792 suspects in Lagos. Addressing a press conference on Monday, Wilson Owajaren, EFCC spokesperson, said the arrest took place at a 7-story building in Victoria Island. Owajaren said the suspects include 114 Chinese nationals, 40 Filipinos, 2 Kazakhstans, 1 Pakistani, and 1 Indonesian. He said the foreigners were using the building to train Nigerians on how to initiate romance and investment scams. We take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Yes, Muktar, I saw you smiling while reading the tidbit on EFCC. Maybe we should start with that. Largest single-day siege and arrest, 792 suspects in Lagos. The question, of course, we can commend them, right? But the question is, how on earth can 792 people be on one building for months, if not years, and only maybe today or yesterday that they were arrested? Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but I will say there is a lot of things about the conversation of if you see something, say something. I think fighting corruption or insecurity or every other menace that is affecting us in the country, it's not just for the security operative or the people involved in this. It is for each and every one of us, because we only have Nigeria to hold. If you see this quite a number of people coming into a particular place, right? I mean, that should raise an alarm as an individual for you to report. But we don't have that culture of reporting what we see, and that's why we're seeing that. And if you look at the numbers of people, you cannot go to Indonesia or India or Pakistan, because there are some Pakistani to do that kind of a thing. So I think it's rather unfortunate. It's a thing to commend the EFCC for that, but I feel we should not really bank on arresting when it's happening. Can we do more of stopping it from happening.
Mitigation from happening.
Mitigation rather than having to do arrest and stuff like that. But it's a thing to commend them about.
But look at the figures now. 114 Chinese nationals, 40 Filipinos, 2 Kazakhstans, and 1 Pakistani. And 1 Indonesian. You have like 5 countries here: China, Philippines, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, and Indonesia.
That's to tell you, fraud does not involve only.
It has no border.
It has no border. It involves everybody. Anybody that chooses to be bad can be bad. Anybody that chooses to be good can also be good. There have been that really question of whether Nigerians are corrupt people or are into fraud. Every Nigerian is into fraud or something. This is also giving the public to know that it's not just about Nigerians. It's about individual. So we have that individual.
So they're all partners in crime.
I mean, if you can get these numbers in one raid, what will happen if these people were really cautioned? And it acts a lot. There's a lot of acts to it if you look at it. Where is our border integrity? Right? How did these people come into Nigeria? Are they coming into Nigeria with a working visa, or what do they have coming into Nigeria? And that's one of the reasons when I saw the FAN authorities coming out to say they want to come down on people that collect money at the airports and what have you. It's a good thing. We have to protect. We have to do something around our border integrity, because that is the first cardinal principle. Because if these people have no access to this country, they will not train the Nigerians that are here, right? Yes, technology and other means can play a part, but why are they coming in if they know they can use another means? That's to tell you that they know some things. Someone is not doing his job right. Even if they are coming by road, there is a border. If they are coming by air, there is airport, and then if it is by sea, we've got all this thing covered. So the only problem we need to caution is how are these people coming in, and we need to do something about our border integrity. I think that's one of the things that was.
All right, Adamu Rabi'u, maybe we'll say something. Joining us from Kaduna, as I said earlier, the tidbit we tried to analyze with Muktar here in the studio is the arrest of 799 people, among them, people from China, from Kazakhstan, and all that. And Muktar said, beyond us not doing enough to assist our law enforcement agents, we should also check the integrity of our border policing and airport and all that. Why do you think foreigners are finding it very easy to come into Nigeria?
Hello?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, Adam, very well, we can hear you, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well, Adam, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, our viewers, and good evening, Alhaji Hamza and Alhaji Muktar, a very good evening. It's a very interesting story, 700 plus people in one day. You understand, that is one. Then, how many nationals? How many nationalities involved?
Almost
about 5 to 7 nationalities. You understand? So the question is it from us Nigerians, or is it from the law enforcement agencies, or is it from the framework that guides visa approval? You understand? Where is our immigration services? Where is our customs services? Where is the DSS? You understand? Before you give somebody to come into your country a visa, you must know the reason why that person wants to come to your country. You understand? That is one. Understand? Then secondly, after he comes in, you don't just allow him free access to every nook and cranny of your country. You understand? You have to have a mechanism to know, okay, he said he's coming in for business. What kind of business? Is it plastic production? Okay, where is his factory located? You understand? And then what kind of items is it being produced there, and is it actually in existence? You understand? So it's a failure of security on one hand. You understand? And then, like I said, it's a very interesting story. How come in one day and in one place, 700 and something? You understand? There's more there is more that meets the eye, you understand. So we need to know the actual story behind this arrest, you understand, and then this camp, you understand, this love and romance camp, you understand, that is thriving, you understand, and then it also points to the fact that, okay, Nigeria, you understand, our law enforcement agency, our security architecture is very porous, you understand. It's not the issue of our border, you understand. These are sophisticated criminals, crimes, you understand. You understand. These are not in the bush, you understand. These are individuals that are probably in a hotel, probably in a very well
secured
good environment,
yeah.
You understand. Internet with facility, with the right infrastructure, you understand. Even the feeding, 700, you understand. Even this crate of minerals that are going to give them, you understand. That should raise suspicions, you understand. So it's a good thing that EFCC has been able to nab this number of people, you understand. But we need to know the actual story behind it, you understand. That is one. Then secondly, I have a grouse with the EFCC, you understand. Some of these crimes, you understand, they may know about it, you understand, but then saying, okay, certain suspects, you understand, can be traced to their location and arrested in the night, you understand. That is absurd, you understand. We are talking of security, we are talking of criminality, we are talking of financial crimes, you understand. Some of these criminals, they don't operate in the daylight, you understand. It is only in the evenings and in the nights. And then EFCC is coming out to say, no, you can't go out there and arrest them in the night. It is human right. What is human right? What about the human right of the people that have been scammed? You understand? The fraud that has been taking place all this while, you understand? But be as it may, it's still kudos to the FCC for catching this number, you understand?
Okay.
And then Nigerians need to know what actually happened. How does this thing operate and for how long, you understand? This should not be the beginning and the end of the story. We should get to the bottom of it and get to the end of that story.
The mystery.
Understand? To know actually what has happened or what is happening.
All right. Thank you very much, Adamu. Of course, let me come back to you, and maybe I will just subsume the first tidbit to go together with our main topic of discussion. You know, we said 21.9 trillion naira proposed expenditure by 22 states, of course. There are 4, but I saw 1 or 2, but we are basing our conversation based on the report we had in the paper today. 21.9 trillion. But as I said, the Federal Executive Council now has approved 47.9 trillion for the 2025 budget, marking a 36.8% increase from that of 2024. I'm talking about the federal government now. Is this significant? I mean, in terms of the figures that have been thrown at us.
You know, so sometimes, Hamza, the reality of conversations is not about just the numbers. It's just about you observing what is happening in the street, what happens across the street. How much do you get fuel to come to Trust TV? How much do you get fuel from here back to your house and what have you? So you could understand that there is an increase in everything. So obviously you have to see increase in budget, because budget tend to be a document that put together the wants and the needs of the people, right? So if it's truly the wants and the need of the people, that means that is to tell you that there is something wrong about, so I said something wrong. There is an increase in everything about livelihood.
Yes.
Right? So obviously the budget will have some, that point of increases. Now, if we go to the subnational government, a lot of time we don't focus about things that has to do with subnational government. So subnational is not just the state. Any budget that is under the federal government is a subnational budget or the subnational government. We've got the states, we've got the local government, and then the development areas. All these people make budgets, just so you know. You know, but we don't really focus on that. If you look at what is happening in the state today, I will tell you, one of the things we need to be happy about is the conversation that we're seeing a budget being presented within the year. That is, we're running a January to December calendar budget, which is a good thing, right? So what are we looking within the budget? One, the first question I always ask, is this budget a budget reflecting the wants and the need of the people? How inclusive is the budget? Two, what is the monitoring and evaluation framework of that particular budget? Were people carried along during the preparation and formulation of that budget? And then if you're now looking at what is, it's this thing really cleared out issues of what is the federal allocation, what is the revenue, what is the tax, what is the tax that the state is doing. If you look at what's happened with our sister organization, our Budget Foundation released a report called State to State, and you could see that there is a lot increase in tax in some states. To surprise you, Zamfara was topping the list when it comes to collecting tax and
Zamfara.
Yes, Zamfara state.
Maybe because of the illegal gold mines. Maybe
no, aside that, there is that point of the bigger word we always forget about when we talk about budget is called political priority, Malam Hamza. Political priority about the conversation, it top the list of that. So it's another thing to budget, it's another thing to implement it, and it's another thing people to see the budget on ground. So the questions are how inclusive it is. Is it looking at addressing issues that has to do with health, addressing issues that has to do with education, basic health, amenities like water, sanitation, and hygiene. You know, over time, we've seen that increase of having state governors focused on things like that. And I have to commend the Minister of Health, Coordinating Minister of Health now, that they're doing something around, you know, giving commendations to people that have done well with the primary healthcare development agencies in
what happened last week. Yes.
Yeah, it happens last week. So that's to show you that you know, people can be able to access health from some of the policies we have within the federal government. We have the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Sometimes thereabout, we talked about it here, where part of that fund is just looking at having a primary healthcare in each and every political ward, right? We've not achieved that, but some states are doing fantastically well. So the budget is, the conversation now is it affecting unemployment? Is it affecting health? It is affecting education and what have you. There is a conversation I saw today that the Emir of Kano, Malam Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi said, the North is really underdeveloped. And I mean, in some other aspect, the South is also underdeveloped. So we are an underdeveloped nation. We're trying to develop. So having projection, having budget is something that will drive the conversation of our needs and wants. So, but most of the times, maybe that's one of the last thing I would say is, a lot of times our subnational government don't really come out to clearly spell the grants, the federal allocation, the security votes that we call those things. All these things are not really clearly stated out, you know, and that's one of our call is to always have what is called citizen budget, so that citizens can really go and check this thing and see how they can follow it up.
All right, thank you very much. Adamu, now back to you. What is your take? It appears the federal budget coming at this time has affected the January-December plans that was started during the Buhari administration. What is the implication of this? This is one. And then secondly, unless the federal government gets it right, the tendency is that subnationals may not also get it right. Why do you think it took the Tinubu administration this long, instead of September or October or November, to have the estimates? It is now that they are planning. Of course, it's supposed to be tomorrow, but they have shifted even the budget presentation to the National Assembly to Wednesday. What are some of the implications of this back and forth?
Well, thank you very much, Hamza, for this question, and Muktar, thank you for your insight there. But what we should realize, understand, is that this is a pointer to the fact that there's a misalignment within the system, within government, misalignment of priorities, misalignment of tax and duties, objects, you understand, and where they need to go, or where they want to take Nigeria to, you understand. It's a pointer to that, you understand. That is why we are having all these issues, you understand. But the implication is this. First and foremost, what has happened to the 2024 budget? Who has actually come out, either the federal government or the subnational, to show us the budget performance on a quarterly basis, you understand? January to March, March to June, you understand? Then July to August, you understand? Who has come out to tell us clearly, tell Nigerians the actual budget performance as per capital, you understand? Nobody has done that. And there's nobody to like sit them down and say, oh, okay, come, you tell us that, you inform Nigerians that this budget that was approved for 2024, this is what you are going to do with it. So how far have you gone in that direction? What have you done? You understand? And then what is remaining outstanding from that form that you made to Nigerians, and then that you are trying to build on to continue in 2025, you understand? And nothing, there's no synergy, there's no plans, you understand, in place. There's no synergy or plans in place to actually assist Nigerians in the scheme of things. That is one. Then for the subnationals themselves, you understand, what they are just trying to do is just to show to the public, you understand, politically that okay, we are able to come out with the full budget before the end of the yeah, you understand. That is just it. But when it comes to actual budget performance, zero, you understand. What is budget? You are sitting down, let's take example, a family, you understand, they sit down to draw up the project to do what? Buy this sort of cleaning items, cleaning materials, school fees, medicals, drugs, you understand, trips, travels, you understand, and what I do, you understand. You look at what is coming in, and then how do you allocate what is coming in to these items that you have actually itemized that you are going to do, you understand? Nothing, nobody does that. The doctors, you understand, or the government, you understand, they just sit down and they, okay, this is, come out with your budget, you understand? Write an envelope for each
without recourse to
okay,
performance.
This is your envelope, this is the money that will be allocated, and tell us how you intend to go about utilizing it to have impact on the lives and the development of the society. There's nothing like that. There's nothing in place. You understand? So it is actually sad the way our budgets are being prepared and then presented and then approved, you understand, by either the National Assembly or the House of Assembly, you understand. At the end of the day, nothing actually comes out of it, you understand. And then before I forget, you know, the federal government, when was it? The National Assembly just approved for them to go and secure additional facility, you understand? From the World Bank. Is it from the World Bank? You understand? To go and source, you understand? And they have been given approval. Okay, add it on top of what has been approved before. What is the impact education? What is the impact socially? What is the impact developmentally, infrastructure-wise? You understand? Nothing is there. Nothing. You understand? So even the figures, you understand? Even the figures they are trying to present, you understand? It is doubtful. It is questionable whether that is the actual figure. You understand? Whether that is what is being presented. What are those things in those documents that will be presented to the National Assembly? What are those figures that have been presented to the House of Assemblies by these states, 22 states that have so far come up with their proposed budget? So it's actually an issue that I don't know how Nigeria will tend to get it right. Are we developing or are we developed? If we say we're developing, then how come? Understand? Our electoral officials are driving around in 160 million naira jeeps, you understand? And then you said you are developing. You are not. You have developed because that is the latest model in town. You are driving it. So if you are developing, you are not supposed to be driving that kind of vehicle, you understand? Then look at kind of convoy they move around town with. You understand?
Yeah.
10 cars, 20 cars. You understand? All brand new vehicles. You understand? For what? Then go back to the grassroots. You see, there's no development. There's no impact. Educational wise, nothing. You understand? If you agriculture, nothing. If security wise, nothing. Nothing has been done. You understand? So they just keep increasing the budget size. You understand? With no significant impact on the lives of citizens. You understand? With no improvement within infrastructure within Nigeria, you understand, or various states or at local governments, you understand. So
it's a serious
I don't know.
issue.
The implication is just
all right, Adamu.
so sad.
All right, thank you. Before the beginning of this program, you know, I was chatting with you, asking, because we've been trying to do this story based on the question raised by the performance of the sub-nationals, and even at the national. We check all the websites. Is it budget office? Is it the Ministry of Budget? Is it the Ministry of Finance? Unable to lay our fingers on any document to show the performance.
Before you ask your question, I just want you to understand one thing. I tried to put up some numbers, right? Our 2023 budget is one of the highest we've ever had, apart from this one that we're having. It's at 21...
2024 or 2023?
2023, sorry.
Okay, 2023. The one done by Buhari,
yes.
And then the supplementary done by Tinubu.
By Tinubu.
I don't know how many we are implementing now.
21.83.
Okay.
83, where we have a deficit of almost 6.10 trillion of a deficit. I think I have something here. And then we're projected at 10.49 trillion. Our projection is at that, so our deficit was growing, and you know, at the long run we got a loan approval of almost 2-point-something billion, 2-point-something billion dollars, and stuff like that. So the reality is, if you look at all those budgets, they are the budgets that we've been working on, from the one of 2023 to the one of 2024, and the supplementary by the present administration, and now we're having another projection. And I don't know what is the projection for now. If you look at the numbers you call, $1 is 1,400.
We are coming to that. Yes, we are coming to that. The practicality of.
So you could see that you could not even tell whether how many projects we are now currently operating. Are we operating 3 projects?
The one done by Buhari, and the supplementary by two supplementaries, and then the 2024.
Thank you. So
we're now going to have another one.
Yeah, we're going to have another one.
The issue is, you follow the money. Yes. That is what you specialize at court.
Yes.
Were you able to lay your fingers on some
So like
figures?
I said, at Follow the Money, one of the first things we focused on now, presently, is to look at basic education, basic health, water and sanitation.
Okay. So you don't dissipate your energy on the totality of the budget?
Because we cannot be everywhere. And one of the things we are trying to pride ourselves is to be able to train people on that point of tracking government spendings, understanding how the process works. You know, you cannot advocate or track or do anything on a process that you don't know. And we're just few. We're 20-something within the entire organization. And then we have state leads and state chapters across the 36 states and other countries, right? We cannot bring together 7,000 plus non-governmental organizations that are doing something like this. Cannot do one thing that if a community comes together to do. So now what we are putting ourselves to do now is building people's capacity to be able to understand this is how this process is, this is how the process is, and this is what you will do to be part of the process, right? So the reality is, there is, I don't know, like you said, you have checked all the websites
and we are
still
searching
performance. Please,
whether at the federal or the...
one, I will be happy to join. Like I said, I will give you what budget did with the state to state, and you could see the projection. But the reality is there are a lot of things that need to be done. It's not a conversation between me and you. It's a conversation that each and every Nigerian need to, you know, step up and do. It's unfortunate for us to see a budget with up to 6-point-something% deficit. So we have to borrow maybe to pay salaries.
All right, Adamu, what is the practicality of the budget at the national and the state levels, going by the economic projections? For instance, oil benchmark at the federal level, they put it at 75 per barrel, dollars per barrel. And then daily oil production, they said 2.06 million barrels per day. But I know that at present is 1.7 million. Do they have the magic wand to up the game? And then the exchange rate. Anyway, you can address the first two. Of course, the $75 per barrel, and then the 2.6 million barrels per day. Will this happen?
Well, let's start with the oil.
Yes.
You understand? For the oil, that's 2 million barrels. It is actually impossible. That's assuming that they know how much is actually being drilled out of the ground. You understand? 2 million barrels. You understand? It is a no deal. They can't do it. That is one aspect. Second aspect is, what has OPEC allowed Nigeria to drill for this period, or for this coming period that we're going into? You understand? We have to factor that. Is it up to that 2 million, or less than that 2 million, or is it going to be more than that? You understand? Then tell me, is okay, if they say they're going to do 2 million, how are we sure that they know that it is 2 million that is coming out? Understand? There's no indicators, there is no mechanism in Nigeria to tell us exactly how much oil is being drilled on a daily basis. They just keep out reeling out figures. You understand? If you are drilling out 2 million, 1.something million barrels per day, you understand? Nigeria shouldn't be where it is presently. It shouldn't be. You understand? That is one. Then secondly, practicality of that $75 per barrel. You understand? Looking at what is actually happening in the Middle East, you understand? You understand? In Europe, in the Americas, you understand? 75 per barrel. With the recent upheaval that has taken place in Syria, and the Israeli and Palestine issue is not over with. You understand? And then Trump is coming in by January. You understand? That 75. What? I don't know what they are looking at. Who advised them to use that as their benchmark? You understand? That is that. And then on the issue of the exchange rate, 1,400. They can call any rate they like. Already at the official black market rate. You understand? There are two black markets. There's the normal black market that we know in Zone 4. You understand? And the WAPAs. You understand? Then there's the official black market rate. You understand? The NIFEX. You understand? I've not checked for the last 1 or 2 weeks. You understand? But 1,004. That's official. It is actually a scam. You understand? It can't be 1,400. You understand? They can, like I said, they can say any figure. You understand? At the end of the day, the money comes to them. Just share it out among them. So practicality of 1,400 is no deal. You understand? Practicality of 2 million barrels is no deal. You understand? Because they said 2 million barrels. Okay, who is even protecting this our oil wells and these are pipelines? You understand? These are former militants. You understand? These are former. Are we sure that they are actually even doing the job? This job is supposed to be handled by the civil defense. You understand? That's why they have been employed. That is their mandate. You understand? But they have been refused to operate in that. And then due to colonialism and self-centeredness, you understand, they have decided to dish out this contract to guide this oil facility to former militants. You understand? A former militant. You understand? How are you sure that he has actually repented? That's the question. Nobody has been able to answer for us. Right. That repentance, is it? And are we sure that these are pipelines? These are all are being protected and guided as should be done. You understand? And then what has happened to the Air Force? What has happened to the Navy and the Nigerian Army? You understand? All the training, all the naira, all the amount of money that's been spent on training them. You understand? They still can't protect our oil wells and our pipelines. We have to take this matter to former militants to take care of. It's actually sad. So practicality of 2 million barrels, no way. Practicality of 1,400, Well, it is at the discretion to dish out whatever figure, and for the 75, well, that is also at their discretion. So, like I said, there's no accountability within the system. There's nobody to sit them down and say, look.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Adam.
So to honest,
especially on the
practicality.
The practicality, yes.
So Malam Hamza, let me give you a breakdown. I've tried to do some things here.
Okay.
So our revenue projection is around 15 to 18 trillion.
Okay.
Right? And then we're looking at oil revenue to be 6 to 7 trillion, right? Which is at 75 to 85 per barrel.
Yes.
So if we go down, I'm trying to release this thing tomorrow. If we go down, do you know that our recurrent expenditure will be taking up to 60 to 65% of the entire thing, right?
Recurrent?
Yes. Now, if we go, that includes salaries, pension, and debt servicing.
Fueling and all that.
Thank you. So if you go to debt servicing, due to our rising debt profile, we might take up to 9 to 11 trillion. We might, right? Now, if you go to capital expenditure, we might take up to 35 to 40%, which is infrastructure, 4 to 5 trillion for road, power, and rail projects that we're doing. Then health and education might take up to 2 to 3 trillion. Right, agriculture and food security, that is what the president is very keen on, might take up to 1.5 trillion. Right, we go to technology and innovation might take up to 1 trillion. So, for projections, right, this is something to put in point. But what are the key focus areas for us? I'm looking at fiscal reform and revenue generation, which is have been bringing the issues of tax
reform and the debate around it.
The debate. Social investment. You could remember there have been a lot of conversation around the point of social investment from that is what bettered the issue of better edu to now we have a new minister and what have you. And then there is a rising conversation across the world, across the globe, around climate action, right? So we're thinking about spending around to 500.
These are the national level, but have you cascaded some of these to the states? So figures coming from a reflection of what is happening at
I'm going to the states. So when we get to security, we're talking about 2 to 3 trillion. For security, which including addressing terrorism and other issues. And then fiscal deficit, which is the bigger issue. It's something that we have to look at: domestic, foreign borrowing, asset privatization, and what have you. But if you go down, if you sum up all these things, I'm trying to look at the assumption now. Oil production is stabilizing around 1.8 to 2.0 million barrel per day. That's what we're looking at. With the issues that is like what he
Adamu
mentioned,
said, yes.
We have to look at that. So we're looking at exchange rate. For me, I would have said let projection rate is at 800 to 850. But it is 1,400. That is what is in the document. You mentioned it, right? So our GDP growth is something we have to look at, right? So if we're looking at our GDP growth at 2.8, maybe something might happen, miracle might happen, we raise to 3.5 or 3.8 is something to come about. But the challenges now has to do with our debt service.
Okay, and we're still borrowing.
We're still borrowing. Then inflation
both at the state and national level, right?
Inflation control, Malam Hamza, we have to do a lot of things, and then the public sector. But this is something I have highlighted. Now, if we take subnational, look at state budgets that has been happening. I'll give you an example with what is happening in Edo, what is happening in Niger, right? Niger is trying to really move into deep agriculture, food security. The budget is titled a budget of food stabilization and what have you. I think that's what Niger is trying to do. In Edo, they have a new government. They're trying to see how the priority of the previous administration and the priority of this very administration might differ. So there is that redefinement and what have you of the budget. And then now they've submitted another budget for 2025, just so you know, right, within a short period of time. You go to Adamawa State, there have been the conversation, I think it was presented today, it's about issues that has to do with infrastructure, education, poverty alleviation, and health, right? But most of the states are not highlighting the key point of this thing. How many grants are they collecting? How many loans are they collecting, right? What is the ratio of that loan? What is the issue of debt servicing? And then what is the main conversation of how we can control the inflation, right? Yeah. And that is the major.
And
so
the
practicability of that with these numbers and the presentation is, Mala Hamza, there is what is called, let's wait and see.
All right, let's see whether Adamu will have something to add, because we are inching towards the end of the program. Which areas do you think governors should concentrate so that this humongous money they are receiving every month as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy, it has not impacted on the people? Why? Is it because they are concentrating on building bridges?
It does not.
Where is the money going to? And what should they do, at least, to provide support for Nigerians?
Due to lack of commitment, that is one, you understand? Lack of commitment from government, lack of focus, you understand? And it's not actually the people that matter, you understand? Or the well-being of the people that matters to them, you understand? It is their ego that matters to them, you understand? That is why it has not impacted, you understand? Let me give you an example. Recently, not so recent, you understand, a certain number of states collected $20 million to set up what are called special agro-processing zones, you understand? Certain number of states collected these 20 million, you understand? If you translate it to naira, we're talking about trillions, you understand? That is what we're talking about, to set up what? Special agro-processing zones, you understand, in the like manner of Netherlands, you understand. Let's take Netherlands for like 2 years back, you understand. The Netherlands was able to generate how much? Netherlands was able to generate like about 50 million euros, you understand, from agricultural products, you understand. This is Netherlands is less than the size of Kaduna State, you understand. But this is what they were able to generate, you understand. So for one, if they have the commitment and the ability and the focus, and it's the people that they want to serve, you understand, they should concentrate on agriculture, you understand. Secondly, education, you understand. Thirdly, it should be security. This should be enough items for them to handle in 2025. And if they are able to solve the issue of food security, you understand, and then the education of our youth, you understand, and then provide enough security, I think Nigeria will be looking like on the right path to development, you understand?
All right. Yes, Muktar. Today, the NBS said inflation rose to 34.60 compared to 33.88 in October. And this comes at a time the budget is being put together. What do you think the governors can do to mitigate the negative impact of this inflation? Man on the street, when you tell him inflation, he finds it very difficult to understand. But he knows that the cost of food, cost of medicine, cost of education is increasing on daily basis.
Malam Hamza, before I talk about MBS,
yes,
do you remember 105 days ago? I am still very active with those numbers because it's surprising. NNPC came out to say that they are financially getting stranded because of the high cost of fuel importation. You know what that tells me?
I lost my
because there is a problem. So if MBS is coming out to say this, I will tell you there are some level of statistics that we need to also look into.
Yes.
The statistic of unemployment, the statistic of the inflation itself, the statistic of inflation control, right? Today, Malam Hamza, you might choose to sell this watch for 200 naira, and someone will sell it for 5 million naira, and nobody will question him.
So government must concentrate on that.
So if we want to address that, the state governors and what have you must concentrate on that. A lot of times, I know there was a time we had a conversation here where the anti-corruption agency in Kano was opening some warehouses to see hoarded materials, and then even some things. I know as a movement, as Follow the Money, we raised a concern about at a point during COVID, a member of a National Assembly holding COVID materials, right? She diverted it into giving that thing out as her birthday gift, and now the person is at Pencom. When she was nominated for pension, something I can't remember that we put up at that thing.
You raised the
concern to say this is someone that did this particular thing.
And
we
nothing
have petitioned,
happened.
nothing happened, and now she's been appointed. So sometimes we have to look at these things. I think the first thing for us to reduce these numbers that the MPS is raising is we have to, at all level of government, be it subnational, be it the national government, we have to look at that control, inflation control. And another thing,
finally, because we have run out of time. Yes,
Malam Hamza, I cannot sit here and tell you loans is not a good thing, but how judiciously do we use it? So we have to look at how we can address our issues of loan, our issues of debt,
all right,
debt services, so that it will not affect us much.
Muktar, I wish we have more time, but there is another time,
Definitely.
Especially after the president presents the budget and when the states complete present it. We thank you for coming from the Follow the Money Connected Development and for your informed perspective on the subject of discussion. Of course, Adamu Rabi'u, I'm very sorry I will not give you another opportunity to wrap up, but we thank you for coming and for your informed perspective on the financial risk and the implications of governance. We hope to have you some other time. And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Thank you for being with us. See you tomorrow for another interesting topic. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.